What's going on, everybody? Steve here. This time I'm in Muncie, Indiana at the Westside Park skate park. Brand new, built in 2025 by Hunger Skateparks. As I'm filming this, it's technically not quite open yet, but it's fully skatable and super smooth and everything. And I'm really excited about walking you guys through this brand new park. Now, Muncie has had a pretty strong skate scene for a long time. Partially thanks to Ball State being here. Also, Life Skateboards had like their manufacturing facility and their indoor bowl here for a long time. But now that has kind of shifted, and now there's a public concrete skate park here in Muncie. So with all that said, I'm going to take you through the park and show you everything there is here to skate. And if you have any questions, of course, you can always let me know in the comments. All right, let's go check it out. All right, so I'm gonna get some of the basics out of the way first. Obviously, what you see in front of me is a nice shade structure. Maybe there'll be some more things added underneath this, like a picnic table. I would definitely expect trash cans at some point, but this will definitely be nice in the summer because throughout the park, there's really no tree cover or other shade. So it'll get pretty hot, and that'll be a nice thing to have. But right in front of the shade structure are twin bowls. One is a flow bowl, one is completely contained. When I go to the one that is totally contained, it's kind of like amoeba kidney shaped with like a straight hip angle to it as well. This bowl is typically about 6 feet deep with an 8-foot extension, which you can see in front of me. So it's got a nice spread out feel to it with plenty of lines and very flowy. Obviously it's all metal coping throughout it. So if you're a pool coping type of person, unfortunately you're out of luck at this particular park. But the good news is this will hold up really nicely. And so as I'm standing over some of the hips, you can kind of see the opposite angle, but you do have that like straight, like kind of arrow point style hip to it, but some really nice wide radiuses in the different corners. So I think multiple people can skate this at one time, which is nice, big and open. And really, while transition is not my thing per se, it's a nice feel to it, really flowy and super smooth. So nice job there by Hunger. Now, just to quickly show you what the bowl feels like or looks like when you're down in the flat bottom. Like I said, you got about 6-foot transitions. It's a little bit shallower on the ends, but not by much. We're talking maybe 6 inches difference at the most, and that's just to facilitate some drainage in the bottom. But you've got this nice, really wide 8-foot extension, so plenty of lines, and certainly some transition rippers could air out of the bowl onto the step up and grind across. So that's a really cool feature if you're into transition skating. Next is the flow bowl, and we say flow bowl because it's not fully closed off and you can skate in and out of it from other parts of the skate park. Up towards the top, you've got these little like micro hips, and then you can see here it's more of like almost kind of like a mini ramp style bowl where you do have like a love seat extension kind of coming out at that 4-foot high transition to a point, and then you've got a nice long 5-foot transition, and then on the other side you've got a 6-foot transition step up, and then kind of on this opposite side of me you have this like coffin style extension with like little 1 foot and 1.5 foot quarter pipes on each side. So this one skates definitely more like a mini ramp than your typical bowl, but it's got some really interesting features to it for all kinds of variety as far as stalls, airs, step ups, and things like that are concerned. So you can really tell that Hunger with their designs has really gotten to a point where they figured out a formula that makes skate parks interesting and appeals to a wide range of skating styles when it comes to transition. So I applaud them for just the creativity behind a bowl like this. But like I said, 5 foot typically with most of these extensions, or not extensions, regular transition, and then the extensions themselves are about a foot taller at 6 feet. So got a little bit more accessibility than the first bowl I showed you. Now we're heading more towards a street area, and I'm going to show you like the 3 foot quarter with kind of an elevator or escalator hip that obviously goes down in towards the entrance of the park. So starting with that, obviously you can do like a ride on grind if you're carving at the right angle. Not a lot of ways to get onto it, but still very skatable. And then the hip itself, one side is kind of slanted downward, the other side goes straight across to that 3 foot quarter. And this whole thing itself is maybe 18 feet wide or so. So it's plenty of room to set up for skating the street area, dropping in, or just coming back and doing stalls or turning around. So that is the nice start to what I would call the top part of the street section. Now, as we get into the different things that you can hit, either going out into the street section or coming back towards the top of the park, I'm going to start with this Euro gap and bump to ledge. This bump to ledge is about 10 or 12 feet long, and I would say about 14 inches tall. The Euro gap itself is only about 1.5 feet or 2 feet long, so very easy to get onto. And this kicker ramp or bank ramp in front of me is probably about 4 feet tall from bottom to top. So you do not have to worry at all about getting enough air. So as long as you're carrying enough speed through the park, you're going to easily get up onto this Euro gap ledge area. Then you've got a opposite of this, a bump to square bar. This thing is about 10 feet long and a little bit taller than the ledge, but not by much. This is maybe 15 or 16 inches tall. The width of that piping is about 2 inches, so kind of narrow, but still, if you like square bars, your typical square rail. And then you've got a rainbow pole jam. Probably more people will skate it coming out of the bank ramp because it serves as kind of a nice wally, but the middle part of this is only about 15 inches tall or so and is your typical arch pole jam. So kind of a fun thing to skate coming out of the bank especially, or you could be one of the wild ones and jam it the other way going into the bank. Now, obviously the Euro gap, the pole jam, and even this down rail can all be skated downwards towards the street area, but I think most people are just going to skate this down rail. This thing is about 8 feet or 9 feet long, and at its tallest point is about 2 feet off of the ground. So it's nice and mellow going down this 4 foot bank. So, you know, you're pretty typical down rail. Got some nice heft towards the bottom of it, which I appreciate. At my age, I'm not jumping down this anymore, but never know. I think younger rippers will definitely enjoy this though. Next are what I would describe as these low impact obstacles that are almost kind of like plaza style. This is very much like something you would find in Indiana. So you've got flat bars, and I'm gonna go to the other one in a second, but this flat bar in front of me right now is about a 12 foot circle rail that's only about a foot off the ground. The manual pad that it's adjacent to is like curb height, maybe not even that, but it's only about 4 inches off of the ground at its highest point, and then on the other end it's probably more like 3 inches off of the ground. And then you've got like this little like handicap ramp style bump, probably too long to air across the end of it, although I would not be surprised if Drew Baylor finds a way of ollieing that. Shout out Drew, I hope you're watching. But yeah, this thing is, the top of it's about 8 feet long and little tiny like 8-inch bump, but it skates like a bump to ledge and out ledge. And this out ledge at its tallest, or I guess the whole out ledge itself is about 2 feet tall, but when you get onto it, it's only about a foot, maybe 13 or 14 inches. So not too bad to get onto at all. And then the out ledge part of it is maybe 4 feet long or so. So kind of small, but super fun, and obviously can skate it from just popping off the flat or coming off of that handicap style bump. Now this obstacle almost mirrors what I just showed you, except there is a square flat bar that's shorter. This thing is just your kind of your standard square-ish tubing, like a 2x8, and it's about 8 feet long. The out ledges and the handicap style bump are basically the same dimensions as I just showed you, except they're going to set up differently, front side or back side, depending on your stance. So nice to have that, and also set it up for lines going in either direction. Now this might be my favorite part of the park so far, and this is kind of a combination of hubba ledges, a bank ledge, and a bank to curb. So starting with like this ledge here in the middle, this is about a 6 or an 8 foot long, basically foot tall box. Can skate like a manual pad if you want, but just kind of your very standard middle of the park style box. And then this bank to curb, you can obviously skate it on both sides, so it's double-sided. A little bit easier to slappy if you're coming up the bank, because the bank is slightly taller on one side of the curb than the flat part is on the other. This flat part in front of me makes the curb about 8 inches tall, and then on the other side the curb is only about 5 inches tall. So not really sure why they did that, but yeah, unfortunately you're probably not doing slappy crooks on the flat top part of it. You're only able to do that on the bank to curbs, bank side of it. But that's okay. Needless to say, this bank to curb is, gosh, got to be about 30 feet long or so. So can get some really long slappy slides and grinds, particularly if you're skating rails. Now on the other side, you can see the M hubba ledge, curved ledge in front of me, M for Muncie, of course. And this is symmetrical, so it doesn't matter which side you're coming from, gonna skate the same way. But this thing is about, I'd say about 18 inches off the ground, and very standard like down style hubba ledges. I should say this bank area that I'm standing on right now is only about 3 feet above the flat bottom. So the slopes are very gentle for these hubba ledges, as well as the bank you would skate up if you're jumping up onto the ledge to skate it like a curved ledge. So nice mellow down hubba is about 8 feet long, and then the curve section is kind of a mellow radius, just bows a little bit ever so slightly, and nice and long. So this thing is about, gosh, got to be about 40 feet long with the flat top part of it, and then the down angles add another 8 or 9 feet. So this thing has got to be close to 60 feet long. So yeah, it definitely sets up for lots of options there. Now the last part of the skate park is what you see in front of me. This is basically a 4-foot transfer into a mini ramp. And so you obviously see this kind of camel hump roller that is about 8 feet wide, and then the quarter pipe, or I should say the transfer area to the left of it is closer to like 30 feet long. But again, it's only about 4 feet tall, and then it transitions into what is essentially a mini ramp. And this thing, again, 4 feet long, but the back quarter is a little bit wider because obviously you've got that camel hump kind of coming into it that allows you to just easily flow into the mini ramp without having to drop in. So well designed, particularly for kids who are maybe not quite comfortable dropping in yet, just to get used to the feel of transition before they eventually learn to drop in. So yeah, nice setup, especially if you like skating mini ramps, and super smooth as well. Okay, everybody, that does it for the Muncie skate park in Westside Park. Hopefully you enjoyed this skate park tour and you found it informative. Like I said, if you have any questions about the park, just drop them in the comments and I will do my best to answer them. Otherwise, I will see you in the next skate park tour video. Hopefully a lot of them coming up this summer. Thanks for watching.